actually set itself up with all the
I think we gotta do a movie night. Watch it over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they did that on How Did This Get Made.
I mean, that sounds like
It feels like it did. At this point, there's so many movies on How Did This Get Made that I don't remember.
Oh, they have got to have done Over the Top. There's no way.
Fairly certain they did.
It's too high profile and too just...
Yeah, it was really, really on. That's why I had a hard time remembering. I was like, I'm pretty sure they did. It was episode 68. Oh man, I forgot that was the movie I just listened to. The last one I listened to was Malignant, which is a...
Oh, yeah. I saw the half in the bag on that.
Person I've not seen.
Yeah.
That's a movie.
Yeah, that was one of those that...
I don't know if I saw that half in the bag.
Yeah, it's...
I know there's a few that I need to catch up on, but I don't know. I think I might have just missed that one.
Yeah, so, yeah. Do you know the plot of Malignant?
No, it sounds like one of those, because they put out a bunch of single-word horror movies around some time, and they all sort of blurred together in my head.
Well, it's like one of the more contemporary horror guys that's been getting a lot of traction. And no, it wasn't that. The whole point is that it wasn't a horror guy.
No, it is. It's the guy that did like Annabelle and stuff.
Is it?
Yeah.
What was the one I was thinking of? In any case, yeah. But
because the one I think I'm associating it with is Insidious.
No, this is like it turns out like
see which is why I can't remember any of them, because it's like they just sound like not Sith people.
Yeah, no, she's got one of those like
Darth Ignant
twins that is has been eaten in the wound.
Oh,
but it is like on the back of her head, and it has like quasi-psychic powers and has the ability to control her body every once in a while and go out and become a serial killer.
But see, that
as it do.
That is only the last like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He skipped ahead a lot. Because the whole point is, at first, you're supposed to think, like, is the main character crazy? And it, like, because it's all pushing towards, like, her imaginary friend is the killer.
Right.
Her childhood imaginary friend. So, like, the thing they kept saying was, on How Did This Get Made was a serious horror drop-dead Fred. And then in the last minute, it turns out that it had a name. It was Gabriel, but they just kept calling it Malignant. They just kept calling the bad guy Malignant because it's just funnier on How Did This Get Made.
Okay.
Because the twin, his name was Gabriel.
Okay.
But they just called it Malignant. And Malignant lived on the back of her head, and like when she would come out, like the hair would go the other way, and then like the arms would go backwards and like break, and it would like right. All backwards and
creepy.
Yeah. And they're like, wait, how did her arms not hurt the next day?
But that's all she knows. It's like sometimes you wake up and your arms hurt.
Yeah, it's James Wan.
Yeah, well, because I remember there was that movie that sounds like it had a similarly like weak twist thingy. That, and I saw that half in a bag. That one was The Boy.
Yeah,
the one where there's a creepy doll in a house, and
that's Annabelle. I was kidding.
No, I know. Yeah, see, exactly. There's a creepy doll in the house, and some lady is hired as a caretaker for the house, like a house sitter type thing, and as part of the crazy owner's like things, she basically has to treat this doll as if it's a little boy. and it like moves positions around the house.
And anytime it's given like food, the food disappears and the doll moves. So.
Yeah, it's like it's all super creepy the whole time, just doing weird stuff like that. So it's like the whole thing is like, oh, the doll's alive. That's the whole setup. But it's just but it turns out it's just their son is like living in the walls, and so he comes out and like he like projects himself onto the doll. So if you mistreat the doll, he gets mad and comes to murder you or something. And that's basically what happened to all the other caretakers, I think.
The best one though is they had a best of the worst way later where they referenced that one, and the guys from Canada are like, oh, there's a movie very similar to that called Hider in the House, except it's Gary Busey.
And it wasn't actually a movie. It's just somebody's ring camera footage.
They're like, yeah, it was just like Gary Busey was in your house. And he's like, he'd come in and go, I turned down your thermostat because you were getting a bit hot. He's like, Gary Busey, he's kind of like E.T. He's just, they open the closet and he's there with his big chiclet teeth.
Cancer ravioli.
Cancer ravioli.
What they really need to do is just combine Malignant with Maleficent and just have Angelina Jolie just living in the back of Sleeping Beauty's head. Sleeping Beauty with a Fight Club twist.
Sleeping Beauty was the evil queen all along.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, how do we start these? I don't remember.
Usually we bullshit for a while, and then eventually you decide, oh shit, I got to get this over with at some point.
Yeah.
There's only so much alcohol in the world.
I didn't grab any this time. I probably should.
Well, let me preface this one by saying this one is a fucking wild one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one
goes places.
Yeah, it does. So this one is also could briefly be described as cold opening the episode.
True.
It just keeps going. It's also an episode that basically just felt like a weird episode of Baywatch and not so much Baywatch Nights.
Yes, both in overall what's going on and the cast as well.
Yeah. I don't even think we see Ellerby once.
I don't believe so. This one is Ellerby less.
Yeah, Donna is in one scene. Griff's in it a bit.
Yeah.
And Angie's in it like twice.
Yeah. Griff is one of the more prominent characters.
Yeah.
Really. He's the only reason that this is a Baywatch Nights episode, really.
Yeah. Yasmin Bleeth is in it more than all of them put together.
Yasmin Bleeth being on Baywatch.
Yeah.
She's in it almost.
I don't watch Baywatch, but I have watched Friends. Run, Yasmin, run!
That's all I could think.
I mean that
could have been the name of the episode.
It's definitely the name of the start of the episode because the episode starts.
Well, it starts with Angie. She gets half of her screen time out of the way immediately.
Yeah, true.
Because she's oiled up on the beach, trying to make Hoff look at her.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
She's basically just on off time, just chilling on the beach.
Yeah.
But Hoff pulls up because he's doing Baywatch things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And basically just says hi and checks in.
Yeah.
And she's of course laying on the beach in a bikini and such.
Yeah, she's got like a bikini and a sarong on. She's all like lotioned up.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically the whole point of the interaction for her apparently is when he goes back to the truck because they have that beach truck for Baywatch shit.
Yeah.
When he goes back to the truck, he's like she's looking at it in a mirror like compact or something.
Yeah. It was a very big compact. It was like the size of a DS.
Yeah, true. It was one of those weird rectangular ones. And she's like pretending to look at herself and looking behind it. She's like, "Look at me."
Yeah.
Like almost
Notice
angry
me,
about it.
senpai.
Almost angry about it.
She's like, look, go ahead, look back, look
Give
back.
me one look, and yeah, he does.
And she's like, got her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's almost all she does in the episode.
It really is.
And then she just shows up one more time, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
And then they transition to another one of those little Baywatch huts, and Yasmin Bleeth going in, and there's some surfers who are walking by, and she's like, no surfing today, it's all fucked up. And we're like, all right. And then
I had no idea what that was about.
I don't know.
I actually looked into it. Because she says it's a black ball. I'm like, what the fuck's a black ball? I have no idea what that is.
I assume
Apparently, it's basically just the surfer version of Adult Swim. Basically, it's just you can't swim right now, so you don't murder people with a surfboard, so that people can actually do swimming and not just surfing.
Got it.
it's when they show Squidbillies on the waves.
That's what you're like adult, just like Adult Swim. I'm like the adult cartoon.
No, the actual concept Adult Swim, where adults only swim and the kids get out of the pool.
I miss those bumpers on Adult
Those
Swim.
were good bumpers. Because I was like, is there some sort of safety thing? Is surfing only acceptable at certain points of the day? I was legitimately curious, but when they mentioned that,
I was not. I was just
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you're gonna have toddlers running around, you don't want.
well, yeah,
dipshits-
that's exactly the idea. Is you don't, and the brief explanation thing about it said that it was.
That's why I put razor blades on my surfboard.
Well, actually, it was that like, oh well, they're just doing that because they don't like surfers.
No.
they basically get the skateboarder treatment, sort of. Don't scatter my sidewalk, kids, except surfboards.
Get out of my beach community.
Yeah,
I think in Tony Hawk 2 you could unlock a surfer as a skateboarder.
sounds like a thing.
Maybe it was 3.
But anyway,
Was it the same one you could unlock Darth Maul? Maybe.
maybe.
Anyway,
Anyway, completely irrelevant. I just thought that was weird. Never heard of the concept before.
yeah. This is the inside baseball of Baywatch, not even Baywatch Nights.
No, like an actual Baywatch.
Yeah. So, she goes up into the little hut thing, and then fucking this asshole in like business casual wear goes
comes
up.
in after her.
Yeah, you see just from like it does a shot with just like the legs, and you see him run up there, and then like he corners her in there, and he's like, "Fucking gonna kill myself."
Yeah. He immediately. She's like, "Yeah, you can't be here. This is for life cards." He's like, "Yeah, well, I'm gonna kill myself." So.
Yeah, and so she's like talking him down.
Proceed.
She's like talking him down, and then she tries to be like nice, and he's just being weird the whole time.
Yeah, he'd be weird. Dude's got issues. You can
Yeah.
tell right away. So she's trying to be nice and talking him into not shooting himself in the face. Which I mean, I don't. That's not a thing you really want to see all
Yeah.
that much. So
And then she,
so she manages to talk him out of shooting himself, and he says, "Okay, I won't shoot myself. I'll shoot you."
one of the great turns.
Yeah.
And I felt it coming.
Yeah. I was like,
That
I was thinking where it was gonna go from here, and then around the time when she was actually convincing him, I was like, "Ah, crap, he's gonna turn the gun on her now." Because where else could this go?
Yep.
and so then he's like, he's still like being weird, and he's like, "You gotta tell me, like."
Well, he's super flattered by her
Yeah.
by her convincing him not to kill himself.
Yeah. This is the best compliment he's got all week. Don't murder yourself.
Like he says, like ever,
Yeah.
basically.
And so he wants like her to explain to him if he's just ugly or what.
Plain.
Yeah. And then it's like, would you kiss me? Because she's like, you look nice.
He's like, "You're pretty. Would you kiss me?"
And then she like goes in, and then he's like, oh yeah, my plan totally worked. And then she like just grabs the gun and does like the old like pro wrestling arm wringer into hammerlock, and then like fucking runs away. So then you get Yasmin Bleeth with holding the guy's gun, running away from him while he's chasing her.
Yeah, it's real weird in that respect.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't just shoot the dude.
Yeah.
When he chases, because she runs out of the tower, runs over to the.
She did a move to alert the other lifeguards. This is the part we missed.
Oh, right.
She knocked the phone off the hook.
Yeah.
And so then, evidently, in the 90s, the Baywatch technology had another lifeguard at like the central location in the orange swimsuit operating a switchboard with like...
you like full on old school
Yeah. And she's
operator type shit.
Yeah. And so she like switches over to Newman, who's in the next tower over. No, Newman is his second appearance in Baywatch Nights.
He showed up in the previous episode with the
Not the previous.
not in a previous episode with the sinking boat.
Yeah.
Where the dude got sort of framed for missing that one body and shit.
I think that was backup.
Sure.
Why not?
Sounds good.
Yeah, he's the guy who showed up next and was like, "Are you sure he wasn't in there?" And then dive down and find the dead body and floating. Yeah, he's bald. He's got a mustache. He looks like a young J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
And so she switches over to him, and she's like, and that I don't even know if that person's a normal Baywatch. I assume so, maybe.
I think so.
Switchboard operator chick.
Well, I don't know about that. I figured the guy Newman.
No, Newman is. He totally is.
Uh-huh.
He's the guy who like Baywatch is based off of.
Oh, okay.
He's a real lifeguard. I don't know about the switchboard operator.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So she switches over to him. She's like, Yasmin Bleeth's phone's off the hook. You want to check in on her? And he looks over. He's like, I just got a friend in there. It's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
End of investigation.
Yeah, he just looks over, sees her talking to somebody, and he's like, "Yeah, it's fine." But he does start to go over to investigate. But then some random lady's like, "Do you have sunscreen?"
Yeah.
I don't have sunscreen.
I forgot sunscreen.
And so he
goes back.
He gets held up while he's doing.
And then that's when the arm wringer move happens, and then she runs away with and then she's running towards him, and it's just such a funny look, just her running away from him with the gun. She gets up there, and she's like, "Help me!" And like he closes the door behind her, and like he's standing by the door, he's got it closed, and the guy later is revealed to be Garth, is his name. He like runs up, he fucking just handles Newman quicker than I've seen anybody handled in the show.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Like, and also it seems that the Newman's tower specifically has like a glass door.
Well, it's got a window.
It has a big window in
Yeah.
the door. Because I don't think the other ones do.
I don't remember.
I could be wrong about that one, but his one has like a big window that you could basically walk through.
Or break.
Or in his case,
pound the shit out of Newman.
Yeah. In his case, bust through, grab Newman by the head, and smash his skull against the side of the door frame.
Like multiple times. Just like wham, wham, wham.
Yeah.
He literally just reaches in and just slams his head against the door.
Wow.
It's
So,
like,
yeah,
it's
he-
like probably like a good 7 or 10 times.
Yeah.
And then he
So
just
legitimate action, no bicycle wizards.
Yeah. He just busts in, reaches in, smashes his skull, and leaves him just hanging out through the broken
Yeah,
through the broken window door.
yeah, just like his shoulders just
Like
slumped out.
Like,
over.
and seriously, if there was a window there, he could like be cutting his belly open at this point.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
But of course, that's not as far as I know. That's not what happens. They don't really.
no. They just have him. They just show him getting loaded later into the back of like the beach.
Like,
Don't
truck.
worry, it's all sugar glass.
They don't really follow up on Newman all that much in this episode. It's really fucked up in that
Yeah, they don't
regard.
even check on him.
But so that while that's happening, Yasmin Bleeth just books it out of this other lifeguard thing. She just kind of wiggles her way through and books it out. And
Through a back door or something?
nope, the same door that the dude's getting beat up through.
Yeah, she just like
really
squeezes
weird.
out and just fucking hauls ass. And she goes like up to like the parking area and the cops are pulling up, and the Garth is like chasing her. Then he sees the cops coming, and he turns around and is like, just like walks away.
It's kind of funny because he sees him coming and he just immediately starts.
He does like the hair slick back and just walk back down to the beach.
Moseys on down to the beach. So the cops just arriving on the scene, just see Yasmin Bleeth running around screaming with a gun. So they're
In a bathing suit.
So like drop the gun, lady, and it doesn't take long for her to explain herself, and
well, she's like, he's trying to kill me. He's trying to kill me. And they're like, who? And she looks back. And she's like, where'd he go?
Yeah, because he's kind of vanished into the crowd.
Yeah.
So the situation is calmed, but then there's still a crowd because the crowd sort of saw some of the commotion.
And Hoff is loading up, is helping load the nearly dead Newman into the back of the beach truck, because I guess the ambulance can't go down on the sand too well. So they're just like, we'll throw him in the back of that thing.
Makes some sense.
He's on a backboard at least. They didn't just like throw his body.
Just grab him by the top bottom of his shirt.
Yeah. They didn't quite do that to him. And so there's like a crowd around. And
Uncle Phil him through the door.
And then in the crowd is Garth. Garth is in the crowd.
Yeah. Hoff is like, asking the people if they saw anything. And none of these people somehow saw anything.
Yeah.
Which is weird in and of itself. Because it was because there's nothing, it's on the beach. There's no cover or anything.
Yeah.
And it was very loud and
a lifeguard run around with a gun while being chased by a dude.
Yeah.
Who then slams the...
I don't know. It's weird that nobody sees anything, but nobody sees anything, of course.
Yeah. But then Garth makes the mistake of like asking, like trying to pretend like he doesn't know too much. Mm-hmm. So he starts asking Mitch like, "What happened here?" And Hoff like immediately sees the blood on his shirt, and like he's got
cuts
a cut
on his hand. He's like, what? He's like, I saw a guy. He was weird looking, and he went that way.
Yeah,
that's basically his whole alibi.
And then Hoff is like, I'm way too close to the ocean for this bullshit. It just takes him down immediately.
Yeah. They're on the beach. Dude has no fucking chance.
Yeah.
Hoff immediately subdues it.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to like take a water pail and put it over
his
head to get it.
He didn't even have to hit the flash dance bucket or anything.
No.
Just immediately, bam.
Yeah.
Dealt with.
So cops come and grab him and take him away.
And of course, what is it? Yasmin Bleeth is identifies that this is the same guy, so that it's not just taking Hoff on his word.
Yeah. Not just on his beach intuition.
And while they're taking the dude away, Garth is just screaming at Yasmin Bleeth that he loves her and shit.
Yeah.
And all that and a bunch of crazy shit like that.
And so then the follow up to this is Yasmin is at the pool where she's like giving lessons to like little kids.
Yeah, she's giving swimming lessons.
And at the same time, Donna is getting her like lifeguard training, and this is her one scene in the episode. Mm-hmm. Probably just enough to make it so that as many Baywatch people appear as Baywatch Nights people appear in this episode,
and also to progress a little bit on her storyline of becoming a member of Baywatch.
Yeah, and then leaving the show. Yeah. And so they're doing that, and Yasmin like finishes up, goes over to her bag, and like opens it up, and there's a locket in there. There's like a jewelry box. Yeah, and she opens it, and she's all like creeped out, and it's got a locket from.
She's at first pleased.
Yeah, she's like, ooh,
she's
jewelry.
Like, ooh, jewelry, and then she's
like jewelry.
And then she realizes that she has no idea who this is from, and then she realizes who it's probably from.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. There is a creepy guy after me. I forgot about that, and it's unsettling now.
Yeah, I think she's already been informed at that point that the dude's already
I don't think they...
Or is that a little bit later?
They haven't really mentioned it.
Yeah, okay.
There's like the security guard at the pool who's a weird dude.
Yeah, there's a security guard at the pool who shows up a few times in this episode, and he's just sort of there.
Yeah, he doesn't accomplish anything.
He's there mostly to be a false flag, I think.
Yeah.
For Garth.
So then Yasmin takes the locket up to Knight, and this is where they explain that, like, Griff comes in, he explains, he's already out, like, they let him go because he basically said that he just forgot to take his medications.
Oh.
And he promised not to do it again.
Yeah, that's not how anything works.
No, it's not.
No, it's quickly evident that the dude has connections. Like both his lawyer and his doctor are both batting hard for him.
Got it.
And so yeah, he's out, and there's this necklace situation. So Hoff's like, all right, I'll take you back to your place. And so Hoff goes in to her apartment with her, and she's like, "Oh, you want something to drink or something?" He's like, "Nah, I gotta get going." And she's like, sees that there's like message on answering machine, and so she like presses the button, and then it's just like message from Garth, and then she like next, and it's like message from Garth again, like next, and there's like 12 messages on the machine, and she's like, "Nah, this is just this whole situation's fuck here." Yeah, and there's like this episode I feel like was half written just so Yasmin Bleeth could have like actual acting instead of just jogging on the beach.
Yeah,
it's mostly just her trying her damnedest, and she's not doing terrible or anything, but it's just scene after scene of her just getting her eyes all watery and freaking out.
Yeah.
In weird Baywatch Nights fashion, we're like a third of the way through the episode at this point. So it's like things are happening, but it's not just cramming like then this scene and then this scene and then this scene. Things are moving along. But Hoff, he's like, all right. He calls up Angie and has her get a restraining order started. Because Yasmin's all fucking...
Well, and they don't even and they don't find, and it's not just messages either. Like they find like a stuffed bear.
That's later.
Is that there?
Yeah. I think that's later. It might be this time.
I thought it was this time.
It might have been this time.
Because I thought they immediately say that she can't stay in her own apartment.
Yeah, no, it's this time. Yeah, there's a stuffed bear, like on the couch.
So he's been in her apartment.
Oh, great.
So he's like, yeah, you can't stay here, which is right.
Yeah, it makes sense. And so it goes back again on the beach. Normal Baywatch stuff still. She's back on duty, and she gets a call, and he's there, but he's like exactly 100 yards away, just like fucking just
whatever the restraining order is.
Yeah.
He's like exact distance away.
And so Hoff goes up. He's like, "This, come on, man, there's a restraining order."
He's like, "Fuck off, guy."
Yeah, and he's like, "I know. The restraining order is for 100 yards. I'm 100 yards away. I've measured." And just being, fucking douchebag like that. He's again in his fucking business casual wear with like his Dockers and his button up on the beach like a weirdo. And so he's basically, he starts to like try to turn it around a little bit on Hoff. And he's like, acting like he's like Hoff is jealous of him and Yasmin.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
Like that's that's like the situation that's going on in this weirdo's head now, is that Hoff's not being protective, he's being jealous. So They go back to the apartment again that night, and they've changed her phone number
And locks.
yeah, and the phone number is not listed, and she hasn't given it to anybody, and then the phone rings again, and it's Garth again, and Hoff picks it up. And there's,
Back and forth.
Yeah. Same old shit, really. But, yeah, it's just, and Yasmin spends more time being freaked out by the whole situation. But yeah, it's evident that this guy knows how to be a grade A creep. He's
real good at it.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing with it. So then, their next kind of step in dealing with him is kind of a funny one. Where, oh yeah, I missed the scene. There's Guard's next step is to kind of turn the police attention back around on the Hoff. So what he does, he goes to night, and he sits on the outside because there's stairs up to the office on the outside.
Because in the phone call previously when they were talking to each other, they say they plan a meeting.
Yeah,
and that's what they do. They meet up at nights to talk to each other.
Yeah, out on the balcony area where there's a little setup, and so they're doing a little talk, and then Garth does the fucking he fight clubs him. He grabs a ashtray and starts beating himself with it. Yeah, and then Hoff wrestles it away from him, and there's noise, and so they call people, and then when the people get there, and he gets away, now Hoff has the he fight clubs him, and so he's got the ashtray. The guy's face is all smashed up, and so now the police are talking to Hoff about it. Hoff's like, "You know me," and they're like, "Yeah," and then fucking Garth comes up, and he's like, "I don't want to press any charges. I'm willing to let bygones be bygones," and does the whole
real scumbag moves right there.
Yeah, and so Hoff's like, "Fucking this guy, we're done here." That's basically his move, because again, he does know the cops here. It's not like. Again, this would have been a good place for Ellerby to show up.
Yeah, this would have been a good place to Ellerby. But I mean, as previously mentioned, one of Hoff's superpowers is he has connections. Yeah,
and so he knows so the police are cool with him,
but they are eyeing him now at least.
Yeah,
they're like, maybe you're just going off your rocker, Hoff.
Yeah. And so then we get to the weird construction / fantasy sequence.
Yeah, you remember how last episode there was a swimming as a metaphor for sex? In this case, it's construction as a metaphor for pseudo rape,
but also construction because he does build a thing.
Also, little construction. Yes, also little construction.
There's a lot of weird things. One weird thing is he's doing a fantasy picture of him putting the necklace on Yasmin and she's in a wedding dress, but he's still got the smashed fucked up face from the ashtray.
Yeah, that's true. That's the funny part there.
And it's shooting in profile, so it's just a smashed up fucked up face.
So yeah,
it's he's putting it on.
So it's so it intersperses between his fantasy stuff and him building something.
Yeah,
he's sawing wood and hammering nails and
welding bars together.
Yeah,
and shoveling sand. You're like, what the fuck is he building?
And so yeah, there's pictures of Yasmin in a wedding dress. And then later it's sexy lingerie, laying on a bed, with candlelights around her.
Yeah,
and
Promise filter on, it looks like one of the music videos from Bad Out of Hell.
Yep. And them prancing hand in hand to wedding bells, and that sort of shit.
Yeah, it's all kind of weird angles to it, and it's all dark, and so it's a whole. It's like in the mind of a crazy guy.
Yeah, it's genuinely a little creepy just because they do like weird discordant music on
Yeah,
top of
instead of doing weird jazz music like they would have done in the first half of the season.
Right, yeah.
They actually picked music that was like according to the mood.
Yeah.
Instead of just having like a jazz saxophonist watch somebody get beat with a club.
Well, I feel like in the first in early episodes, maybe not even just the first half, I should say, that they would have like legitimately like sexy jazz here.
Oh yeah.
Like so they're like,
It
oh
would've
yeah,
been.
look how
Yeah.
sexy this is. But it's
They got
like, no.
BB King just literally just fading in with the shots.
Yeah, but it's like no, nothing about this is
Yeah.
cool. I mean, Yasmin Bluth in lingerie, that's pretty cool. But
Yeah. I mean, so far this episode has just been an excuse to get women in less clothes than they would usually have.
yeah.
And so
To be fair, that's kind of the premise of Baywatch.
yeah, that's why this is more like a Baywatch episode than a Baywatch Nights episode. Yeah, so he's up to some no good bullshit, and the half of the Night's crew that's actually in this episode, they're looking into stuff, but like he's all connected as shit, and so his record is clean as fuck, even though he's obviously no good. His dad was a ranger in Nam and was like
Some big hero, apparently.
yeah. He was basically Rambo.
Yeah, basically Rambo.
And so they're like, yeah, he's got his bases covered on this.
Like the most they say is that he's like living in the shadow of his father.
Yeah. No one cares about Jim Rambo.
Yeah.
And so their best weapon now, at this point, the best plan they got is just counter harassment.
Or at least, to be fair, I'm not sure if this is so much a plan as it's just Griff winging it.
You don't know one way or another. So like when Garth shows up to the beach again, Griff's like there, and he's got his cameras, and he's just following the guy around like a paparazzi, just taking pictures and just being an asshole about it.
It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah,
Because he just hovering around him, just taking picture after picture, and just like, yeah, I like that.
well, it's like it's Griff playing into his two strengths, which is photography and being annoying. So it's like I fucking found my lane. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use the black and white now. He's like, oh, refracting light. It basically just annoys him away from the beach.
Yeah. He gets in his car, fucking peels out, and leaves.
Yeah. And Griff's like, fucking did it, man. Yeah. So, and then he throws like a bag of garbage at Griff. They're like, fuck off. And then Griff's like, hey, there might be evidence in there. So he grabs the garbage, and then it's back at the pool again, and Yasmin's got her little
Teaching her kids.
Yeah, the little kids, and then this is when they do their little fake out with the security guard,
Yeah.
where they show his feet and he's like walking up slowly and creepily, almost doing the little dippy toes thing.
Yeah.
And then Yasmin's like, what? And then it's just Timmy's like, hey, checking on you. He's being creepy in the corner over here.
Yeah,
Making sure you're safe.
He even says like he didn't say anything because he didn't want to freak her out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, she is on edge, so I understand that, but I
You should
understand.
probably announce yourself before you get closer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
It's like, I didn't want to scare you, so instead I silently crept up on you in the dark.
yeah. I understand I understand where he's coming from, but you could have done that a different way, buddy.
Yeah. So, like, she goes back to the locker room, and she's, like, getting her shit together. And then you start hearing meow, 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 meow. And,
Because there's a box of kittens.
yeah, she looks over, box of little kittens there. The kittens were quiet until right now. She'd walked in, she was doing stuff, and then they all started meowing.
Very suspicious.
Yeah. I don't trust these kittens. So she goes over, it's like, hey, kitties! And then it's like, chloroform, bitch! So now Garth's got her. And she wakes up, and we find out what Garth was building. So she wakes up, and she's in a replica lifeguard hut with bars over the windows. So he built a full like little beach.
I had burn after reading.
I mean,
We don't know all the rooms in this place. What we see is pretty weird, though.
yeah. Well, we haven't gotten to the weird part yet.
Yeah. So yeah, she's locked in. There's like sand out on the outside, you know, and it's got like clippings of like her rescuing people from the newspapers, of like when she saved people who were drowning and stuff.
Yeah, he's mentioned a few times that she's a hero.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, she's a lifeguard, so she's obviously like saved people and that sort of stuff. But he's like, you need to be recognized for this thing. He even says, "This is your medal."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he's being real creepzoids now. And like he's not in the room with her or anything.
He's just talking over.
Yeah.
Loudspeaker.
Yeah. There's like a loudspeaker and he's got like a microphone. And so his room, it's like the old school like principal's office microphone looking thing. And so you just see that and him, and then it's just dark, and there's like a little sliver of light shining on his face in the microphone. And he's talking to her through that, freaking her out, you know, being all weird. Basically like Buffalo Billing at her.
Pretty hard.
Yeah. He's like, "Well, do you fuck me? I fuck me." Yeah, he's referencing like, you know, looks and stuff. Yeah, he's just being fucking creeps. And so she's stuck in there now. And then, back at night, Griff's like, "Got a bag of trash from the guy."
And Hoff is like on the phone.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, they kidnapped her."
Yep.
he kidnapped her.
Yep, he's got her. And he's like, "Let me look at this. Maybe there's something in here. I don't know." And he finds like a Whitman sampler box, and it has like a price tag from like the location of the spot at. And he's like, "I don't know. Maybe he's out there. I guess." And like, "You think so?" He's like, "I don't fucking know."
He's like, "Yeah."
The best I got.
He's like, "I got nothing."
Yeah.
'Cause
All I got for evidence is the bag of trash you brought me.
yeah. He to be fair, he has nothing to work on.
Yeah. And so then he's like, wait. His dad was a ranger.
And he was in the army.
Yeah.
I should point out.
And so he's like,
He's an army washout.
yeah. And so he's like, "Oh, there was an old base out there, not used anymore, that the Rangers were stationed at."
During Vietnam.
Yeah. So he's like, "All right, well,
That's the best. It's there. It fits with what he's doing.
yeah." So they go out there, and this time there's actually the GMC truck actually serves a purpose for just being bigger than the Acura would have been, because it's Hoff and Griff, and Hoff will like pull up in the GMC. Hoff's like, "All right, Griff, stay here. Make sure he doesn't get away. Just take up space. I trust you on this one." Goes in, and then
If you can't do anything else, you can just take up space.
so then he goes in. Immediately, it's like Creepsville, dark, full of like not even just like normal spider webs. It's like Shalab spider webs in there.
Yeah, it's real dungeon feels.
Yeah.
Immediately. Just narrow dark corridors and spider webs everywhere.
Yeah, and so he gets through Shalab corridor over there, and the first thing he comes across is
I like
like
to think it's Shaloub's corridor. It's just
yeah, Tony Shalhoub. Yeah. So first thing he comes across is like there's like a corpse of I'm guessing
He enters a dark room and then he somehow turns on the light and there's a corpse sitting on a police motorcycle.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
That's,
just,
again, this is where it gets weird, Marty.
yeah. It's just like a mummified corpse of like Pontarelli.
And there's newspaper clippings
Yeah.
around it. Like the stuff that's like hero cop saves blah blah blah. Blah.
Yeah.
And it mentions the name of whoever this lady was. But yeah, it shows that this corpse sitting on a motorcycle, police motorcycle, I should say.
Yeah.
And like all he's fucking dead because like mummy at this point.
Yeah.
Great.
And so like Hoff grabs like the nightstick.
Yeah, he kind of like goes.
Yeah.
and
I was like-
takes the nightstick from her
Yeah.
from her lap.
Yeah. I was like, he should just went full like dungeon crawler and just like throwing on the helmet and everything.
Yeah, just snap her head off.
So he's like creeping
It done
around.
been scooped out.
He's like creeping around now. He's got the nightstick, and then they show Garth, and he like goes up to this other corpse that's sitting behind a desk.
I think it's just a shadow at this
So
point.
is that when he goes full Buffalo Bill and puts on the night vision goggles?
Yeah, see, at this point it's shifting from Buffalo Bill to Jason and
It's more Psycho.
and yeah, that too.
Oh, okay.
Heavy in the Psycho, because he's like the enemy has breached our picket perimeter, sir, and he's just talking to a corpse in like fucking army uniform, medals all over.
I think at this point it's just it's just
No,
like a
I
shadow?
think they show it.
Do they show it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, he's just in there, and he's got like a fucking M16, and he's in fatigues now, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it, sir," and goes back to his weird fucking shadow realm, and then Griff decides like, "What am I doing out here?" So he goes in.
Immediately vacates his position
Yep.
and goes
You
in
had one job, Griff. You had one job.
and goes in a different entrance.
Yeah.
And so he creeps through his corridors, and much quicker he finds another room with a corpse in it.
Yep.
And in this room, it's made up like a classroom, and it's the teacher at the front. And again, what is it? There's clippings from newspapers.
Yeah.
And like on the blackboard, like in chalk, is written a bunch of Teacher of the Year, like a bunch of times.
Yeah. And this was another thing that I forgot to mention, was like he had mentioned one time that somebody made him write some phrase over and over again. He's like, I had to write that 1,000 times. There's I can't even remember the stupid phrase. But yeah, I was like, oh, this is the teacher that probably made him do that.
I remember that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I didn't remember that until I saw a teacher thing. I was like, oh yeah, he mentioned having to write something over and over again. So yeah, again, it's like, okay, this guy's got a whole weird thing where he fucking just locks people in a place until they
Just die
and
somehow.
turn into a Spirit Halloween store. And so like Hoff gets in a fight with this guy, and it's a back and forth fight for a while.
Oh well, we didn't quite mention when he's talking, the corpse he's talking to is apparently his father's corpse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got that.
Yeah, but we weren't 100% clear.
Well, especially with the Psycho reference, you know.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah. So like Hoff gets into the boss fight with him, and it's a rumble for a while. They're throwing like some legit punches and knees on each other. Hoff's not walking away with this because again he's far away from the beach now.
right.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a gun.
Yeah. He doesn't even have a water bottle to power up with.
No.
Nothing.
No spritzing at all.
Griff, like in the meantime, Griff like gets Yasmin out of her weird little prison hutch. And Hoff's fighting this dude, and so there's a shot they showed from a low angle before that you're like, okay, I guess they're just showing this angle, and you see it's like there's like some of the cement and stuff is broken, and there's like
their fight. I should point out their Hoff and Garth. Their fight actually travels outside.
Yeah,
of the
they're like
bunker
fighting
thingy.
through like doorways and stuff. And,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're back around where the van is, and then they go up onto like a little roof area.
Yeah, and so there's a shot they showed a couple times now where there's like cement blocks and stuff, and there's some rebar sticking out, and you're like, oh, this rebar's gonna come into play now, isn't it? And so they fight like up the stairs to like the top of this like I don't know. It's weird.
It's a weird sort of building. It looks like it would be like a guard outpost type thing, but
Yeah.
it's also recessed, so it's not a thing where you would have advantage. So I don't know.
But it's overlooking kind of like this courtyard area, so who knows what it was for.
Yeah.
I don't even know what this originally was. It could have been filmed at a drive-in for all I know.
Yeah, that's also true. So yeah, they're fighting, and like at some point, Garth like just grabs a piece of rebar and just starts swinging it at him like a sword.
And so Hoff's got to be like fucking backing up and shit, and gets it away, and then like the Garth fucking charges him, and Hoff just back body drops him off the edge of the building and just right onto the rebar, just fucking impales him. Straight murders the shit out of him. Yeah, and then like he meets up with Griff and Yasmin, and he's like, yeah, all done.
Super dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Problem
I
solved.
will not get any comeuppance from this.
Problem solved. And then the last scene is just Yasmin like, nope, still not good about this.
Yeah, she's just sort of sitting, she's just standing on the dock, just reminiscing about the stuff.
About the time she got kidnapped and almost murdered.
Yeah.
I mean, trauma just goes away, you know.
Hoff's like, yeah, but I totally murdered that dude.
He's like, yeah, but he's dead.
Yeah, don't worry. By the time the next Baywatch episode shows up, you'll be fine.
But those fucking kittens got away scot-free.
Yeah. That was a funny thing, was when they showed like a thing where like she's like freaking out in the guard or in the lifeguard tower thing.
Yeah.
When she's freaking out, she's having like weird like flashback things to like different things of like Garth and like specific things, and she flashes back to the box of kittens, and then it does like a negative image of the box of kittens.
Well, I mean, that's when she got chloroformed.
Well,
So-
see, it makes sense in the sense that that was the last thing she saw before she went unconscious. However, it's weird from a narrative standpoint.
It is.
Because it's like, were those kittens in on it? I think the kittens were in on it.
Yeah.
Well, of course they were.
Because they were quiet initially, and then they started meowing when they needed.
Those are trained kidnappers.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. No. They got a pounce each for that.
yeah. So, it. Yeah, there was a couple times in this episode.
1 pounce and a gram of catnip.
Oh, and in case you forgot, what the part of this episode that I forgot until like on the way over here, while Cliff was rewatching, was finish watching it. Is that this episode is called The Curator.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's a creepy thing is they don't really follow up on the other corpses that were in there.
Yeah.
No.
And it's not really clear how many there were there.
We found 3 of them, but they didn't comb the place. They were just looking for Yasmin Lee.
Yeah, it's a big place, and there could be a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder if the reaction to this episode is what caused them to actually go into the whole occult angle later.
I don't know.
They're like, yeah, we did that one thing that was super creepy. Hey, what if we just veg straight into that horror shit? That people seem to like that.
Yeah, this was. There were some times where episode felt like it took a weird hard left turn at certain parts.
Yeah.
So it was like Baywatch episode, like for about half of it, and then just took a hard turn into fucking crazy land.
As I said, this episode is fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like, what if Norman Bates had a legal team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, basically.
And a box of kittens.
And a box of kittens.
Lethally trained kittens. Kittens of war.
Kittens of War. Yeah.
Yeah, so, man. I mean, the corpse special effects were not great.
No.
They definitely look like Halloween Superstore props.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it worked fine for what they were communicating.
Yeah.
It wasn't distractingly bad.
No.
But
They were
It wasn't plastic skeleton.
they were
spiderwebs.
they were fun.
yeah.
They were
They
fun.
just had silly string on on skeletons and called it a day.
The spiderweb definitely looked more silly stringy than
The spider webs looked a little silly, but it was fun.
Yeah. But yeah, it definitely it just kept getting weirder and weirder with it.
Yeah.
It started like, okay, this guy's just obsessed. It's like, okay, this guy's obsessed, and he also
Well,
Bill-
his like villain power increases very sharply over the course of the episode.
Yeah.
Like like first scene, it's just a crazy dude who want to kill himself. It's like, ah shit, who's planning to kill himself. And it's like, ah shit, there's a crazy guy, he wants to shoot himself. That sucks for him.
yeah.
And then he's like, oh, but I'll shoot you. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, dick move guy.
Yeah.
And then it goes further from there.
Yeah, and then he becomes like maliciously crazy, where he's like doing all the creepy things while also like not breaking the rule explicitly.
Yeah, doing the real scumbag shit where you just like, I'm not touching you.
Yeah.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
But it seems like he was really bringing a lot of attention to himself for something that he wanted to keep as like on the down low and put her in a curated thing. Because, I mean, if he had done that before with the other things, you'd think that with the other people.
It is mentioned at some point in the episode that he's like specifically targeted.
Yeah, they don't think it was random.
Yeah, that he specifically targeted Yasmin Bleeth. So he was obvious. So it's obvious that he was that he planned that all out ahead of time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that.
What I'm getting at is that the circumstances for in this case were unusual for him.
Got it.
And that in other circumstances he was probably able to bully his way out of the spotlight with the I'm not touching you bullshit and his various connections.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one he got pissed off by Griff and got in his car burned rubber and immediately kidnapped Yasmin while she was
we don't know when the kittens were acquired.
We don't know.
Because like he immediately goes from being hassled by Griff to kidnapping her.
Right.
We know this is immediate. And he has no kittens with him when he gets out at the beach. Does he not carry in a box or anything?
It could be in his car.
He could be in his car, but that'd be weird to leave your distraction in the car while you walk down to the beach.
It's true.
I don't think, hey, Yasmin, I have a box of kittens in my truck. It's going to work whether you actually have the kittens or not.
Well, I'm thinking maybe he just has them in his car for when he needs to do.
Maybe
his
it works for
operation.
the other people.
True. We don't know how smart these other
Hey,
people are.
Dad, I've got kittens in my car.
Yeah. It's also not clear. It's also not clear about the thing with his dad. His dad could have just died, and he just dug up the body and just is parading it around.
Yeah. I mean, technically,
that's what
that
I-
could be with the other people as well. They may not have been stalker.
That's a good point. I get the impression personally. This is just not based off basically nothing. Frankly, is that he dug up his dad or secured the corpse before it was buried or whatever, and then he started doing his weird museum pieces or whatever you want to call it with other people.
Yeah. So, I guess the important question is, where would you rank it? It seems like it's pretty high up there.
I mean, I did like it because it was so fucking insane.
Yeah, it just kept getting weirder and weirder. At first I was a little nervous, just because it's like, okay, this plot seems kind of dumb, and then it gets like, oh, whoopie whoop woo.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't sure where it was gonna go exactly.
Well, again, the third act is where it seems like it goes totally off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because see, there's a big difference between because like I was saying with the villain,
you went from Baywatch to Tales from the Crypt and like that.
Because like I was saying before, his villain power grows so sharply because it goes from potential suicide dude to creepy stalker to Norman Bates.
Yeah.
and there's a bit and stalkers may not be cool, but they're better than Norman Bates.
Yeah.
And I mean, the first kind of like, the first swerve is pretty early in the episode when it's like, all right, I won't kill myself. I'm gonna kill you now. and it's like, okay, that's like a record scratch when I'm like, woo.
Yeah.
And then when he just fucking annihilates Newman, it's like, holy shit. That's way more brutal than this show usually is.
Yeah.
But
It's usually like, oh, just action fights. Like, the last fight between Hoff and Garth was way more in line with what a Baywatch Night fight is going to be, even though it was still a more brutal version of it.
Yeah.
Because they were, like, throwing shit they don't... Usually it's like, oh, I'm going to jump off a truck or something. You know, he does
Or
that
throw
in
a
this
bicycle at someone.
He does that in this episode, too, when Garth like tries to run away when he's like, oh, I see the blood in the very first part. He, like, chases him by running up his truck
that's
and
right,
jumping off of him onto the guy.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. You know, there's like, that's the normal kind of goofy. And the end, he's like, they're like fucking throwing knees and elbows and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's brutal.
I mean, it's the kind of thing of like, oh no, they hit the apple cart and the apples fell over.
Yeah.
That's the level I expect.
Yeah,
from
usually
Baywatch.
they throw people through a tie-dye shirt stand or something.
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm fairly. Unless I just blacked out. None of the other fights have ended in impalement before.
No, the impalement is new. It was a new kind of impalement.
And if it's not, it's because it's been in a montage of things that have been symbolic of impalement.
Yeah. Yeah, there may have been an impalement in a jazz solo that we missed.
It's true. I'm not sure if I watched the entirety of
Maybe
that.
that's what Blues Boy really was.
It felt like it. It felt like being impaled.
Yeah, we were just having a fever dream.
So I want to say the highest we've gone so far is what, 5.75-ish?
No, the highest we have is like a 7.5.
Oh, okay.
Because one of the early
Silent Witness.
Yeah.
That's our.
Yeah, that's a classic one.
That's our holy grail. So
yeah, I mean that's the one where they have a fight on an amusement park.
Yeah, and see, this one feels similar in many respects.
It's not as silly fun.
It's definitely not as silly. It's way darker.
Yeah.
Well, and again, it's all the first half of the episode seems like it's pretty. I mean, you have the awkward fight at the beginning, but it seems like there's a lot of the first half that's really kind of weird, just creepy and awkward. But then you have that turn at the end.
Mm-hmm. Middle to the end, yeah.
Yeah. So 6.5.
I think it might be a little higher than that. I might rank this as my second favorite episode so far this season.
I think that's fair because it doesn't have dumb pacing issues. They
didn't shove a second storyline in for no reason. It's missing Ellerby, which is a weak point.
Yeah,
what's the spread between our?
It could be a flat 7.
It could be a flat 7. 6.97 is what episode 5 Just a Gigolo is at. And 7.5 is Silent Witness.
So is it better? Is it 0.03 better?
It might be a little bit better than that. We might have to do 7.15 or something.
Yeah, I think it's a bit better than that. Just a Gigolo. Oh boy.
Just a Gigolo was our previous number 2 best episode.
It's funny. It's a funny episode.
Yeah.
7.15.
7.23.
I can agree with 7.23. I think it's pretty close to Silent Witness as far as quality. It's a weird close in quality because they're very different episodes.
They're very different. Silent Witness is kind of fun and it has its serious moments because it's all about abuse and shit.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's more fun Baywatch stuff instead of corpse defilement and impalement.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Like when they throw Destiny on that little choo-choo track.
Yeah, exactly. That was great.
Oh, it's one of the best moments ever.
That puts that up there. That easily it's like half of that score. I think.
I know
because it has everything you want from Baywatch. Really. It's got boobs. It's fucking funny because it's like a Thomas the Train little go round thingy.
Yeah. Oh boy, this. I gotta say the description of this next episode is weird.
Oh.
So we're coming off the Curator into episode 17, Code of Silence. Now, I can guarantee you this right now. You will not get the description of this.
Code of Silence.
Much like you could not get the description of this episode from the name.
No. I would not. That was definitely not what I would
Thief
guess.
in the Night was exactly what Thief in the Night was going to be about.
Yeah.
This is totally not what I expected out of the Curator.
I guessed like the opposite of what I thought Thief was the Night was going to be, just out of spite because it was so obvious.
Yeah.
The Code of Silence?
Code of Silence.
Let me think. I think there's two possibilities. One, it's like serious ninja bullshit, and like people can't and like people who like legitimately sworn to silence or fucking mime combat.
I wish it was
Mime Fight Club.
Mime Fight Club would be amazing.
It would be amazing.
I am gonna go with Code of Silence. Sounds like a what's the Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise, military.
Oh, A Few Good Men.
Few Good Men. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the whole code.
I can see that.
Code Red or whatever.
I can see that.
Yeah, that movie where Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson slay a case of Mountain Dew Code Red.
Whatever, where they have they haze the kid for being out of line and accidentally kill him.
Right. Yeah.
And then they waste their bikes.
But they have that whole thing where they have to your core. You have the line of succession where they have to be silent in order to be in line with the succession of the thing. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So this is the description of Code of Silence.
I'm personally hoping to mime combat. That's
Yeah.
You are closer than you suspected with the first option.
Okay. See,
Okay.
that was the serious guest. If I'm being
Hoff tries to save a young geisha woman from kidnappers.
Yep.
Oh. Okay. Wow.
So there may be serious ninja shit in here. Alternatively, these kidnappers could be mimes. We do not know yet.
Ninja mimes.
Ninja mimes. I'm down for ninja mimes. They actually put the white over their black masks.
The black mask with the little cheek,
the little rosy cheek. See, I wanted it to be Mime Combat, but I had a feeling that it was like some Yakuza bullshit.
It's fucking scaling the invisible wall.
Oh, that'd be... Mime powers plus ninja powers would be pretty overpowered.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess new villain is
Well, here's the worst. They could create invisible weapons.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know.
The invisible wall. Invisible walls is powerful enough as it is for a ninja, but they could create invisible weapons because they do that all the time.
Yep. We run along invisible fucking
Yep.
poles in the ground
Pull
and
you
shit.
with invisible rope.
Yeah.
What else? Attack you with invisible dog. That's a thing they might do, right? Don't they do a thing where they like attacked by a dog?
They could lure you in with an invisible ground mochi.
Invisible stairs down.
Right.
Let's go descend to the next floor.
Yeah,
my contempt of mimery, however, is limiting my repertoire of what they do. So I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. You try to move the suitcase, it's stuck in midair. This time it's invisible. Yeah. So geisha.
Damn it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh boy. So the director is a busy one. He's directed a few episodes. He's directed the phone sex one. He directed Backup and Thief in the Night.
Oh, Backup. Which one was Backup? Was a pretty recent one.
Yeah, that was the one where the guy was on the boat.
Right.
The corpse was on the boat.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the writer, let's see. It doesn't look like the writer has popped up yet. We got a new writer, old hand director.
Well, I mean, most of the episodes the director did were pretty decent.
Yeah.
No Blues Boys.
No Blues Boy. Blues Boy. I still love that there's one episode in season 1 that was directed by TBA.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Was Blues Boy the one that was TBA?
No.
Or is it just not applicable?
No, TBA was Takeover.
Yeah.
That one was a halfway decent one.
Oh, Takeover, right? Yeah, that's one where Destiny ceased to be.
Yeah, that was the season 1.5 beginning.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if just got Alan Smithied. Like, the person just didn't want to take credit for it, so they just wouldn't put the...
It feels that way.
So yeah, we're
Or it just got memory hold and nobody cares anymore, and everybody forgot.
it's like how they taped over the moon landing video where they just like wrote down on a note somewhere like, we gotta fucking fill that in sometime, and they just threw it away. So we're 6 episodes left in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
We're inching closer to sea monsters.
Yeah.
That's why we gotta keep it going.
Yep. First, we gotta get through. Hopefully, Ninja Mimes.
Hopefully, Ninja Mimes.
Yeah. Should just preemptively name that episode. Hopefully, Ninja Mimes. No, it'll probably just be called Not Ninja Mimes because you know it's not going to happen.
Sadly, not Ninja Mimes.
Sadly, not Ninja Mimes.
Yeah.
No, it's probably actually Yakuza bullshit.
Yeah, probably. It's probably like White Yakuza though because it's Baywatch Nights.
There's a good. I'd give that a 30% chance. Yeah.
As long as it's not the Golden Girls gang.
True. Yeah.
We're in business.
Yeah. Ooh, they outsourced to them.
I mean,
there's like 2 Yakuza guys, like actually Yakuza guys, but then they have the Golden Girls gang that's working for them.
I mean,
They're the liaisons in the States.
Yeah, I mean, because this is the same atmosphere of the they had what's it, Deep Space Nine, where they had to bring in Bashir's mother, and they were like, wait, there's no Indian female actors, so they just grabbed like a college professor and we're like, here, we'll give you money, there's no one.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have to work with the actor pool, and it's probably just like Japanese guys are the guy that plays Long Duck Dong.
There's like a 50% chance that guy shows up in this episode.
No, yeah. No, there's at least at this point in time, there's probably at least a decent staple of rando Japanese actors that they could just grab.
Yeah, I mean, Japanese actors exist. It's just a matter of, for the acting pool that's available through the agencies and whatnot.
Well, no. Well, see, this is the thing is that for shows like Baywatch and stuff, there's as many Japanese actors as you need. It's for the high budget movies that it's hard to find.
Also, when Marty was saying agency, part of my brain was gonna say
agency.
It was Asian season. Like, there's only so many you can get through the Asian season. But when they're out of season,
Oh God, that'd be horrible.
you really gotta look for them.
Yeah, it's horrible when Asians are out of season.
You gotta import them in those containers. Terrible.
No.
They're not fresh. It's not.
No, it's just during their vacation season where they come out with their cameras, because that's the stereotype, especially for back then.
Well, I mean, it is California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either that or an
I have a camera. I am a camera. Because that's the same guy. It is the same guy.
Would then like them and Griff bond over cameras and shit?
Maybe. Like bro out over.
God.
That would actually be kind of funny. I would actually like that.
It would be hilarious to have the racial stereotype,
Well,
but yeah. But it is that time of television where it's racial stereotypes.
It's that time of television, but it makes sense for literal tourists to be into their camera, and also they happen to have a camera nerd on the crew, on the cast. I could easily see one of the people, like one of the 2 Japanese guys, because I'm assuming there's only going to be the 2 Japanese guys. I'm assuming that right now. One of the 2 Japanese guys would be super into the camera, and he talks about it with Griff, and the other Japanese guy just doesn't give a shit. And he gives a sidelong look at Ellerby, and they're just like, want to go eat chicken? And Ellerby's like, yes, I do.
But I mean, there's got to be at least 3 because
Am I wrong?
There's going to be at least 2. You have to have 2 Yakuza guys and then the actual geisha.
Right.
So there's technically probably going to be 3 Asian people. And they may not have even gotten Japanese people.
To be fair,
No.
the geisha could just be a white person with just the geisha makeup on.
Yeah.
I mean,
I am going hopefully.
well,
Because literally it could just be a white face.
I really doubt that personally. I mean, I'll be a little bit surprised if they couldn't find some C-list Japanese actors.
There's a
Shove it in
difference
Baywatch.
between couldn't and didn't.
That's a point. That's a good point.
For all we know, they could just shove Yasmin Bleeth in a kimono.
Yeah.
I would almost.
I'd be a little surprised.
I would almost appreciate it if they just filmed every episode with like the same cast of like supporting characters playing different characters every time. I would actually dig that.
Do the
A show should I think shows should actually do that sort of thing. It'd be actually kind of funny.
like the Wachowskis one, Cloud Atlas.
Well,
I don't know if I saw that one.
I didn't see it, but it was one of the big draw of it. It was one of those like pieces that had like 4 different timelines or whatever, or multiple different timelines, and they had the idea of it was that they were the same people that were being like reincarnated.
Oh, okay.
But that meant that even though they were all different nationalities, it was always the same people. So they basically just did makeup between the different people.
Right.
So you would have the same person would be male versus female versus different nationality.
Right.
So, but they would all, because they were always trying to be the same. They would always keep the same actor for that reincarnated person.
Right.
But they had a lot of flack because it would be like Tom Hanks as the Asian guy and the.
Yeah.
no, I'm saying that Garth would have been better as Geraldo Rivera.
Well,
Thinking about this. I mean, I don't want to sully Geraldo with that role, frankly. I don't think you're wrong, but I don't want to sully Geraldo with that role.
I think if we just keep like, but yeah, just having that same rotating cast of weirdos.
Geraldo is definitely one of the top one-shot characters so far.
Yeah. I feel like this episode really could have used Destiny. I will push it over the top.
Destiny, yeah, well, it's again lacking. Destiny was best character, and this episode is lacking Ellaby, who is new best character.
Yeah. The fact that it got this high without the 2 top characters.
Yeah, it's good. For
And leaning heavily on Griff.
leaning heavily on Griff. Ugh.
I mean, the thing is, they could have basically replaced Griff with Destiny
Uh-huh.
and fulfilled the same story element.
They could have replaced Griff with just about anybody. The only thing that he's got going for him is the camera thingy, but anybody could have done the harassment thing.
Yeah.
They just do it in different ways. Really.
Yeah.
Ellaby could have done that pretty easily.
Destiny definitely could have
Destiny
been chasing around with.
I've just seen Ellerby just pelvic thrusting in the chicken costume. Just like-
Destiny could have done it with like harassing him for like a fortune or whatever.
yeah. And then she could have tracked them down where they were with her psychic powers,
Which
which would have been better than the Whitman Sampler box.
It would have been better than the Whitman Sampler. The only thing would be the worst choice for that would be Ryan, because it's kind of out of character for her to do the harassment deal.
Yeah.
I think she could, but
Yeah. Although I will say I did like the fact that Hoff was very adamant that they had no idea if this fucking half bullshit clue was worth anything. He wasn't like, oh, I figured it out. He's like, I don't fucking know. It's the best we got.
Yeah. No, that was.
This means something.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that. It was like this
Is
something. This is a box.
yeah. It's literally this or drive around the streets yelling, Yasmin, please.
Yep.
And the last time he did that, he was arrested.
They took his Acura. All right.
Yeah.
Hopefully mimes.
Hopefully mine's.